Hi and hello, everyone. Welcome back to Popping Culture Podcast. This is episode 11. No fingers. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Jeigh.
That was a prolonged. Did you forget your name there, buddy?
No. So for you that, if you watch the show, as the editor, I've noticed that sometimes it's hard to put our names back to back like that without a pause.
That makes sense.
Because then it's like, Adrian Jeigh done.
Have we considered just putting it on the same lower third?
No. I don't. It's witchcraft.
Okay. Seeing as how I'm the one who makes the lower thirds, I feel like maybe that's what's going to happen.
Well, so then you admit that you've been failing at making convenient lower thirds.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. I am not a professional at this whatsoever.
No.
I'm not even sure how I learned how to make lower thirds, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure Google's helped me out on that.
Yeah, probably. Again, witchcraft. Yeah,
it's
through Google's.
I swear now, as I've said before, Alta Vista will rise again.
I'm still back in WebCrawler. Stay local.
Oh, absolutely. No reason not to. Netscape, have we heard of it? It's going to be a thing on 97.
I'm going to try to figure out how to configure CompuServe to work with my high-speed internet. It'll probably break because it's not used to going that fast.
No, CompuServe maxed out at dial-up, buddy.
Yeah.
But it was free dial-up, if I remember correctly. No, that was Net Zero.
Net Zero.
Which
still exists.
Shut
but
up.
Costs $10 a month now.
Well, it's not Net Zero.
It's still called Net Zero.
Oh, well. Good for them for trying to stay relevant. Right. Meanwhile, I pay 30 for Xfinity and have like 20 down. Speaking of down, let's down the go. Let's go with some beer.
All right. What are we drinking this week?
We are drinking the Ninkasi Quantum. It is their IPA that's only available in Eugene, Oregon. We were lucky enough to have a keg brought over to Special Brews for undisclosed reasons. But the keg was brought over. We got a couple growlers of it. You haven't tried it.
I have not tried it.
I finished a growler last week, so let's go with it's one now.
Okay. So Ninkasi, you said this is typically only available in Eugene because Ninkasi is brewed out of, I'm assuming, Eugene.
They are brewed in Eugene, that's right. And it's not one that they bottle or generally ship out.
Okay.
But it's a very good IPA. Grapefruity, not overly hoppy. I'm not an IPA fan. I don't think you are either, if I remember correctly.
No. I'm take it or leave it on IPAs.
Okay.
I will not refuse an IPA if it's offered to me, but I will not seek one out.
Let's see what you think.
That is definitely grapefruity.
Yeah, right?
It's got that very...
Like it hits you with it.
Yeah. I don't know that I will drink this, but I don't know that I like this too much.
Okay. I get what you're saying. I like some IPAs. I don't like other ones. It's really hit or miss for me. I like this one well enough that I will drink it and not make a face. As much as I love Ninkasi and most of everything they do, I probably won't seek it out.
No. But yeah, like you said, they make a lot of great beers, so I will not judge them by this one. This is kind of, if you guys remember back to episode Dose, when we did the Hell or High Watermelon.
Oh, yeah.
That was one that you were not a fan of.
Not at all.
I enjoyed that one, but so now we're 1-1.
We're 1-1, and again, as far as IPA fans are concerned, this is like everyone here at the office who's tried it. As far as IPAs are concerned, they love this one hands down. So if you're a big IPA person, go seek that out. You're mostly porters.
I am much more into the darker, heavier beers.
Yep, me too.
And I think that's probably why this one's it's definitely a lot lighter, crisp taste. I think the same comment you made about the Hell or High Watermelon could apply to this, where I think it's better suited for a summer consumption.
Oh, absolutely.
If it was a hot day, I would drink this. However, here in Seattle, it is not a hot day.
Well, it is a crisp 52 degrees out today.
Yes.
A high of 52 degrees out today.
Oh, yeah.
What? Oh, that's beautiful. Like the leaves outside are literally like orange and pink as we were walking up today. That's awesome.
Yeah, okay.
No?
No.
Because in Phoenix, the cactus is... Oh, that's right. It's a freaking cactus.
But you could be poolside right now with this beer.
No, man, I'm too big for that. I'd look silly poolside. It's just too much hair going on. It's strange.
I have a brother that lives down in Chandler, which is just outside of Phoenix. He sent me a message last year, probably April-ish. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I just got done driving in the torrential downpour. How about you?" He's like, "Oh, I'm sitting poolside drinking a beer. It's 85 degrees right now."
There you go.
Okay, cool.
I am from there, and I left for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of reasons, let's get to the reason we're recording this podcast.
To drink beer, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So, I mean, you guys can just watch us drink beer, I guess.
Yeah.
It's weird. Should we talk while we're drinking the beer?
Sure. Actually,
okay.
We'll throw something out here. For those of you, I know that this is a video podcast. I also know that not everybody actually watches the video. Some people just put it in the background and listen to it. So, just before the show tonight, and we touched on this 2 episodes ago, we did get everything rolling to where this episode, in addition to being up on video on YouTube, will also be available audio.
That's right.
We've got the servers all set up for that. So when our editor edits this video, he will also rip the audio.
There you go.
And we'll post a link on Facebook and a link on the Twitter to where you can consume that, download it. I think it will definitely be on iTunes. My goal is to get it on iTunes, Stitcher, and then there's a couple other independent apps that you can download through.
Can we get it on Stitcher?
Yeah.
Wow, it's like we're
almost
that legitimizes us.
Yeah.
We may have to get rid of our @Gmail account.
But that's so professional.
It is. Again, poppingculturepodcast@gmail.com.
Send us your emails.
No, seriously.
Whether they're good or bad. I mean, we will, whatever we get in an email, because we're not regulated by anything, we will talk about it on air.
Oh, yeah, no joke. We will. And in fact, you know what? For like 9 of you that are watching, I'm considering doing prizes. Like, no joke. I'm considering like sending
people. No prizes?
No. What?
Are you not familiar with the no prize?
I'm not familiar with the no prize.
So back, history lesson, in the early days of Marvel, in the letters columns, whenever somebody wrote in and they caught a mistake or something like that,
Yes, I remember this now.
They got a no prize, which was literally just, good job, you get nothing.
No, I was talking about variant covers. Not these particular variant covers because I love them and I'm keeping them. I bought them for me. Like the Green Lantern Lego or the Grayson Lego or the Superman Lego that's in my office. But other prizes, variant covers, t-shirts that get donated. We have a lot of stuff lying around here. And it should go to you guys.
You pick a poster off the poster wall for all I care.
I do have a lot more posters to add to the poster wall. Yeah. I need to update that. That reminds me.
So we'll send you what do we got here? An all-new X-Men poster from 4 years ago.
That's not from 4 years ago.
Might as well be.
That crossover is like 10 issues old.
That one?
Yeah.
That poster's been up here since last summer.
Yeah, the posters come out way in advance before the comics, remember?
Right.
These are the promo ones from the shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that does not mean the poster's only 10 months old. Because you've had the poster up here for almost 2 years.
But the comic it's related to.
I said the poster that's like 2 years old.
You guys would rather have shirts and like variant covers, right?
Yeah, that's...
You know what? How about this? I'm going to start off right now. I have a never worn extra large Silent Bob. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Silent Bob
Jeigh
and
Jay. Silent Bob.
Dressed as Batman and Robin t-shirt. I have it packaged in my office. Shoot me an email. First person who sends me the email, I will mail that to you.
Send the email with a self-addressed stamped envelope. No, I'm kidding.
Clever.
Right. Yeah.
Television, buddy. What'd you watch?
I've had a super, super busy week this past week. I'm on day 12 straight of work right now. So I worked both days this weekend. Sorry, day 11. So much that I lost count. So I didn't get to see very much this weekend. A lot of our regular shows that we discuss, with Halloween and with work and everything like that, I didn't get to. What I did watch, though, and I texted you as I'm watching this.
Oh, yeah, you did.
You spoke last week about Burning Love.
So good.
I appropriated the first season. I've watched the first episode and a half, and it's hilarious. It's everything you made it out to be.
Thank you. Thank you.
The first thing I texted you was a line from the first episode when the female contestants are introducing themselves, and one of the ladies says, "I may be damaged goods, but I'm still goods."
That's right.
Hilarious.
And she's actually the contestant.
Whoa. Why are you... I don't need... No spoilers.
You mean no spoilers? It's on the promo image.
I didn't see a promo image.
Okay. If you haven't seen the promo image, then I won't say anything.
Okay. Except now I know.
What do you mean now you know? You don't know. Cover your ears. I'll tell them.
Earmuffs. So yeah, Jessica and I watched the first episode of that. I had actually watched the whole first episode and half the second episode. She got home from work. I paused it and said, hey, I told you about this. I have it now. We need to watch it. She was kind of skeptical at first. And then we started watching it. She's all those little... You really have to listen to the things they're saying. It's super funny.
So the reason I'm laughing is I just started season 2 a couple nights ago. And like 90% of the contestants in female 1, they're all the females, are dental hygienists.
Yeah, no. I said that. I totally...
But here's the funny part. In season 2...
Are they all dentists?
The males... There's a couple male dental hygienists. That's their description. Male dental hygienists.
That's hilarious.
I'm sorry, Vaughn. I know you're a dental hygienist. I'm not mocking your profession at all, but...
Yeah, he is.
A little bit.
So yeah, I watched... I said first episode, half of that. I watched one more episode of Heart of Dixie.
Okay.
And then I think I got through 1 or 2 more episodes of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
And still just as good?
Oh, it's hilarious.
All right.
The most recent episode I watched was Michael Richards, which for those of you that don't know Michael Richards, Kramer from Seinfeld. He's interesting in real life.
Because he's batshit crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. They made...
I don't think he knew that Kramer was being filmed. I think he was just Michael Richards.
Was just him,
Yeah.
They made a couple references to, for those of you who don't know, the incident that happened a couple years ago when he was on stage.
What happened? I'm joking. I know. Go ahead. Tell your story.
No. So they made some reference to that, and then there's a scene in there where he's like, "Oh, hey, we need to go." They're driving around the town. He's like, "We need to go to this guy's house. I know this guy." And I don't remember who it was. Now it was supposed to be some celebrity, and they go knock on the door, and it was literally just some random person's house. Nobody he knew at all. So they're there, and they're like, "Hey, so here." They're like, he's being super convincing, and they walk away. And Jerry's like, "You have no clue who lives there, do you?" He's like, No. So yeah, completely batshit crazy. And the vehicle in that episode was an old Volkswagen transporter truck.
Seriously?
Like not the bus, but the one that's converted into a truck. And it was actually kind of cool. It's a flatbed truck, but what it is it's got like the wood, the rails that go all around it to keep stuff in. And when you want it to be a flatbed, they literally just unhook and fold down, kind of like those crates.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For those of you who are pointing at those crates,
you can't see those crates, right? Yeah. It's a widescreen.
Turn more to your right. No?
Over.
Okay. Anyways, they're pallets that come up, make a box, and then they just fold in on top of themselves to be perfectly flat. Okay, so that's what you got for TV.
That's all I watched. How about yourself?
As I mentioned, I started Burning Love Season 2.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Okay.
I'm going to spoil it. So we learned in Season 1, it's Will You Accept My Hose?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, in Season 2, the main contestant's a woman. So it is Will You Hold My Box? And there are many jokes given about putting things in her box.
What is her profession? Because the first guy's a fireman, which is why it was the hose.
I don't remember her profession, but the reason
it's in shipping or something.
The reason it's a box is because it looks like a jewelry box with the flame inside, so you can kind of. But that way, Michael Ian Black has a lot of jokes of you are not good enough to receive a box. You cannot hold a box.
Right.
Get out. Just plenty of box jokes. Yeah. I'm sure at some point there'll be an Xbox jokes. Who knows?
We can only hope.
Yeah, it's an inside joke for some of you. Oh, just you.
It's inside the box joke.
There's some inside the box. Oh, yeah.
There it is.
I also want to make a pun of the week. Well done, buddy.
I think I'm 11 for 11 here.
How dare you? I get a couple. Mine are all quiet puns.
Right.
Let's see. Constantly number 2. Watch Constantly number 2.
So we talked last week.
Yes.
I do want to bring this up. We talked last week. The episode of Constantine that I watched back in July or August or whenever it was.
Can I interrupt you really fast?
Yes.
Is it awkward if I do a victory lap for being right? Yeah, I'll do it after the show. Go ahead. Yeah.
I had watched the version that aired at San Diego Comic-Con. After that had aired there, they had announced, we mentioned this before, that the lead actress was going to not be part of the show anymore. They were going to bring in somebody else that was actually a character in the comic book. They reshot the ending of the episode between the version they did at San Diego and the version that premiered on TV
the pilot
2 weeks ago. The pilot, yeah. So they really did change the ending. So that
told ya.
that is why I had so much more of an issue with the episode than the people that watched the pilot when it aired on TV. They saw a different version of it. So
let me ask you a question. Has this made you rethink maybe watching spoilers?
no, not at all.
Okay. No lesson learned whatsoever?
No.
None at all?
No.
Nope? Okay.
For the most part, I still knew what was happening 3 months in advance.
Okay.
Okay.
So does Harrison Wells.
Ooh.
Oh!
There's a reference.
There you go.
Not a
all right.
pun.
No. Just a good reference.
Yeah.
So Constantine
Really knocked him off his feet, though.
Hey, oh my gosh.
There we go.
You came up with that like in a flash.
That was quick.
Yeah.
But not Johnny Quick.
At least you didn't say Jesse Quick. Did you remember Jesse Quick?
No. Wasn't that a character from Toy Story?
No, Jesse Quick was another one of the speedsters.
Oh.
She took over Johnny's daughter.
Okay.
No? Okay. Anyways, Constantine number 2. It was good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't a show that I was like, wow, this has revolutionized television for me. I enjoyed it. Like, it was a fun 40 minutes. It was over. I'm like, good. I'm looking forward to the next one. I like the new character. At the end of the episode, you couldn't tell if she's going to be good or bad, like kind of where she lied. The narration of Constantine and the look on her at the end, she remains kind of mysterious. So we'll see what happens going forward. I'm looking forward to it. The effects, again, were really well done.
Right. Well, when you're working on with Comcast money, you can do that.
Right. Xfinity money just spends. So this episode was about, they go to mining town and some of the miners are being killed. There's a creature and he's just trying to figure it out. I don't want to give you more details than that because I want you to watch the episode, because with shows like that, you know, like Bones, Constantine, NCS, there's always the whodunit aspect. And I don't like to ruin that for people because some people, they don't figure it out. Others do. So enjoy it. The new Bob's Burgers was out, the Halloween episode, and you know how much I love Halloween episodes. The Bob's Burgers one aired after Halloween, awkwardly enough, but was still awesome. If you watch Bob's Burgers, it delivers home. It's a great episode. Tina, I don't remember. You watch Bob's Burgers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Tina and the kids, they have a Ouija board and they do a seance because there's a paranormal ghost in the house. And it turns out they trap him inside of a box. That's the vessel they can travel him in. His name is Jeff. So Tina starts dating this box because she really likes the ghost inside because he's so easy to talk to.
So Tina loves the box.
She should be a contestant on Burning Low too. She would accept the box.
All right.
One thing leads to another. It's just fun hijinks. Bob's Burgers is definitely becoming all about the kids and a lot less about Bob, which is fine because I still freaking love that show.
Hilarious.
It's hilarious. Also, totally off topic. That light is totally bugging out my eye right now. I don't know why. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want?
No, like seriously.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, just so if I'm sitting here looking funny at that way, guys, it's that's why.
Do you watch any movies?
Yeah, I did, but I'm not done talking about TV yet.
Oh, sorry. I apologize.
So no, it's cool. There was one other show I was going to talk about before I went all random.
Marry Me?
No, talked about that one already.
That's nice. I don't know if there's a new episode.
The new episode is out. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
I had house guests, so I'm still catching up on my TV.
Right.
So yeah, let's move on to movies. What did you watch?
I did not watch any movies.
Any movies you want to talk about real fast? No?
No, I'm good.
Okay, Book of Life, produced by Guillermo del Toro, starring Channing Tatum.
Chandler Bong. Tatum.
Who?
You watch Friends?
Yeah.
Yes. No.
But I remember Chandler. But
there was an episode where the men and the women were playing a trivia game to see who got the bigger apartment, and one of the questions was, "What is the name that comes on the TV guide that's delivered to Joey and Chandler?"
That's right.
And it was Chandler Bong.
So funny enough, I've been watching Mulaney, the show that's essentially just Seinfeld,
right,
for this generation. And one of the characters had never watched Friends before. So Mulaney talks his friend into watching Friends in the whole season. And he makes reference to it throughout the whole show.
Okay.
You know, just like, why did nobody tell me about this? Do you think this really happened with Ross? Like, all this stuff. And then the show...
That was 10 years ago. Come on.
Yeah. And then the episode of Mulaney's almost over, and he just comes out. The character's name is Motif. Like, super sad. And he's like, what's wrong, Motif? He's like, there's no more friends. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. And Motif is just like serious, like, and he's crying. He's like, Mulaney, do you think they were friends in real life?
Oh my.
And he's just consoling him. Yeah, Motif, I really think they were. He's like, that helps.
Oh man.
Mulaney is like 50% awesome and 50% garbage.
Okay.
Like, the show's based around John Mulaney, who's a comedy writer for Martin Short, whose character's name is Luke Cannon.
Okay.
He lives with two people. One of them is a guy named Motif, who's also a comedian, and then just some girl where I don't know what she does. She's just kind of like...
She's there.
She's just there.
Right.
And then they have this drug dealer who's always there. But they don't do drugs. Their gay neighbor across the street, old gentleman, does drugs. So the drug dealer and the old dude can totally leave because they kind of ruin the show. Like, they're there for no good reason. They're not even funny. So, like, every time it's Mulaney and Motif and the girl whose name I can't remember, I'm like, that's funny. As soon as it becomes, like it's a whole side plot to every episode that's completely useless. It does me no benefit whatsoever.
All right.
Back to Book of Life. Again, produced by Guillermo del Toro. Had Channing Tatum in it, Zoe Saldana, and unfortunately a lot of other cast members whose names will be on the lower third, who I don't remember because they're not recognizable household names in the U.S. With that said, it was awesome. Like, I went into it thinking it was going to be okay. I see everything Del Toro does and even produces. He's produced, what's the last one he did? Mama? Yeah. Last one he produced was Mama. Didn't direct it, produced Mama, and I really enjoyed that. So I went for this one as well. And again, like, slam dunk. Loved every second of that movie. So totally worth going to watch.
Okay. If I ever make it to a theater.
Or, torrent it when it comes out.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Yep, that's an option.
Okay.
So, Jay, I couldn't help but notice you have just one comic.
Comic.
I don't even see a Kindle.
No. So there's a tragic story behind that.
Okay.
As seems to happen a lot in our society today, my debit card information was hijacked. So for those of you that watch, you know that we're in the Seattle area. I was parking in downtown Seattle yesterday, and my debit card wouldn't work in the meter. What do you call those things?
The parking meter.
Parking meter, yeah. All right. I was close. It kept getting declined. So I was like, I don't understand why it's getting declined. Call my bank up real quick, and they're like, well, we just need to verify some charges because it looks like there may have been some fraudulent activity. I'm like, okay, what do you got? They're like, did you reload a Starbucks card? Yeah, I did that this morning. Are you a member at such and such gym? Yes, I am. Did you spend $45 at Target in Brooklyn yesterday? Sure didn't. So somebody got my information. They went and spent money at Target in Brooklyn, which, to be fair, I wasn't even aware there was a Target in Brooklyn.
There is. So here's the thing about this that I've never understood. Same thing happened to me and Jessica, and we got the phone call, and they spent thousands of dollars out of our account. And the thing I don't understand is how. Like, do they just put that information on another card and then run that other card? Like, they just spoof it?
All your information is contained in that magnetic strip.
Sure. So they have
there's
readers.
There's machines that you can program that information into a card. Mm-hmm. It's illegal to have the machine, but that doesn't stop anybody else.
Well, it's illegal to perform the activity. So
luckily, they only did a small transaction on my card, and I think because it was Target, that's already kind of a flag because of that whole thing that happened last
especially
Thanksgiving.
In Brooklyn.
Yeah, being that I made purchases in Everett, and then an hour later I made purchases in Brooklyn. That's kind of a red flag. So as such, my bank has canceled my card.
Yep.
Which means I couldn't purchase any of my digital comics because I didn't have the card to purchase them with. So I literally have one comic that I bought this week.
If only you didn't buy digital.
Well, there's that. Sure.
Look, don't get me wrong. I feel bad that your information got stolen. Happened to me, and it's a pain because it takes forever to get fixed and remedied and get new cards sent in and whatnot. But maybe you go back to comics.
Maybe I go back to just not paying for my comics.
No, I didn't say that.
No, I think that's what I heard.
I did not say that.
I think you said if only you didn't buy digital.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I was getting them in a digital
So you
format,
stole digital?
if I was getting them in a digital format in which I didn't have to purchase them, that's what you're suggesting, right?
No,
You're advocating torrenting comics.
I'm advocating.
You heard it here. He's advocating
bagging and boarding and loving your issues.
Oh, I love my issues. Doesn't mean I need a paper copy of them.
I know.
Again, space for a comic collection, studio apartment.
And you know, guys, this is gonna be a constant argument between him and I, and it happens mostly off air.
Yeah, no.
Like
it's all the time.
yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around digital. I just can't do it.
No, that's fine.
Like not for the same price as actually owning something.
It's your choice.
I know it is.
Yeah.
Look, and one day, like it may not be now, it may not be tomorrow, but one day I will appreciate it when you tell me I'm right. Like I'm looking forward to that day. And what I have is Inhuman, Earth 2 World's End, Earth 2, Future's End, which I'm going to put these aside because I want to talk to you about a little bit later.
About the Jubilee issue?
So the issue to Future's End 27 kind of has Jubilee rocking. Like she's got the same 92 glasses.
Same yellow thing behind her looks just like her trench coat.
Her trench coat. Kind of the same colored jumper. Like there's lots to talk about there. Spider-Verse. So we're no longer at the edge of Spider-Verse. We're now just Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Which I didn't realize that was going to be a thing.
So we've breached into the full Spider-Verse.
We've breached the edge. We're now in the verse itself. Okay. X-Men, Rocket Raccoon, Grayson, which is one of the books I'm going to review, Green Lantern, and Legendary Star-Lord, which is another book I'm going to review.
Okay.
Before we get to our reviews, I want to talk about the Band-Aid.
Okay.
And the reason I talk about Earth 2, World's End, and Future's End is because these are all going to a much larger conclusion in the DC universe called the Convergence.
Convergence, yes.
Also commonly known around the internet as the Band-Aid. So essentially what's going on, I mentioned last week, Earth 2 has the Apocalypse War, which you can see from the Crazy Furies on the cover. They have the Apocalypse War, and then the Earth gets destroyed. They come to our Earth, as it were. With it comes the Apocalypse War. The Parademons follow them, kind of messes some stuff up. And then we have Future's End, which takes place 5 years in the future from now.
Right.
Where we find out that Brainiac has been collecting things from different universes and will unleash them all, which will then become the Convergence.
Okay.
Also known as the Band-Aid.
So, quick question.
Go.
So, Earth 2's had the Apocalypse War.
Yes.
Yada, yada. So, we know that in the current DC universe, the Apocalypse and New Genesis exist outside of all the 52 Earths.
That's correct.
So, the same Apocalypse, whatever that was happening in Earth 2, that's the same dark side that the High Father is talking about in Godhead.
So I want to say yes, because
You should be able to say yes.
I should be able to, because like you had mentioned, they showed a map previously that New Genesis and Apocalypse live outside of these universes. So theoretically, yes, they should be the same. Editorially speaking,
Maybe
probably,
not. Okay.
but there's a small percentage of not. It makes sense because in Godhead, we have the Apocalypse discussion. We talking about the Apocalypse now in Earth 2.
Wait, they're talking about Apocalypse now? That was a great movie.
It is, like, Marlon Brando's in this.
All right.
So they're talking about Apocalypse at the same time, and these universes are in the same time frame. The only one that takes place in the future is Future's End. So theoretically, it should be the same Apocalypse deal.
Okay.
So the Convergence, as we know, is also known as the Band-Aid, where all these multiple universes converge and collide. It's how we're bringing the JSA into the current DCNU.
Okay.
But we also know that some of the other DCNU heroes will meet their pre-DCNU selves.
Oh, God.
Right?
So you're going to see pre-52 Superman and Earth 1 Superman.
So we may see DCNU Superman meet pre-DCNU Lois Lane, whereas married to her Superman, but in this world
is not.
is not.
Oh.
I don't know who's going to meet and how. I'm not sure how that's all going to converge. The reason it's called the Band-Aid is the same reason back in 82 we had Infinite Crisis, or Crisis on Infinite Earths. There was some editorial things that they kind of just got messed up and they needed to retcon some stuff.
Yeah.
That's why this is called the Band-Aid. It's going to Band-Aid and retcon the problems with DCNU. Because those of you who may be familiar, I've talked about this before, single issues, word bubbles are different from what's in the trade because they didn't plan DCNU
like
well
with
enough.
the Teen Titan thing at the very beginning. Yeah.
Teen Titans is the big one that everyone's aware of. In the single issue, it says, Tim Drake's talking, he goes, "My name is Tim Drake. I was Robin."
Sorry, I really wanted to say I'm a Spartan.
Spartan?
The SNL skit with Will Ferrell and Sherry O'Terry.
Oh.
My name is Dana. I am a Spartan. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, I was random earlier, like that light's still killing my eyes, so it's cool. Hey, oh my God, am I allergic to IPAs?
Oh, it could be.
I'll survive. So, as I was saying, it said, my name is Tim Drake. I am Red Robin, blah, blah, blah. I was Robin, yada, yada, yada. That word bubble is removed in the trade paperback. Never mentions being Robin. Because the math doesn't add up.
Right.
Batman, who in the DCNU is only in his 30s, has Nightwing, Jason Todd, Dick Grayson, Damian, all only after being Batman for 5 years. I'm like,
right. So each one had like a 12-month stint and they were out.
Not only that, but Damian is a 12-year-old boy that he has with the daughter of one of his biggest nemesis, but he's only been Batman for 5 years. It's like, it didn't make a lot of sense.
Right. Yeah.
And now Damian's coming back with superpowers, mind you.
Oh, God.
Like, what the fuck is that? I'm not even going to hit that topic.
No.
But that's why we need what they're referring to as the convergence. The internet's going to be referring to as the Band-Aid. How do you feel about that?
I think it's shit.
Yep.
Obviously, when you are resetting a world and you're trying to tell all these new stories, it's a challenge to make everything make sense.
Absolutely.
But I think that I would like to think, I can't obviously say this for sure, I would like to think that they knew they were going to do this well in advance of when they did do it, so they should have done a better job of planning. At the same time, I don't know what it would be like to be the senior editor over 52 books that all come out in a month. It could be slightly challenging, maybe. But
I'm going to play devil's advocate for you.
So that was Al Pacino. You're going to be Al Pacino.
I was trying to think about doing an Al Pacino impersonation, and then I was like, there's no way that's going to come off even.
Not going to do it. Not going to do
So
it.
Jeigh. Yeah, see, like, I feel like I feel like mine would just come out like some old Jewish woman instead of Al Pacino. And
Is it that far off, really?
I mean, I guess not. But I will say this. No, the DCNU was not planned well. The editorial did not do great. It's now gone on for 36 months.
But it is still the new 52.
It is still the new 52. But not all of them. Only the ones that were in the relaunch are still have that. Anyways, the thing I'm saying is it wasn't thought out well. And they realized that, and they're making up for it. Here's me playing devil's advocate. After Crisis on Infinite Earths, in 1982...
I swear it was 85, but okay.
Was it 85?
I'm 99.2% sure it's
Because
85.
I thought Barry Allen died the same year I was born.
I don't think so. I think how long did it go on? Maybe that's what... I think the final issue was 85. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was a 3-year event.
Good Lord.
Anyways,
we're going to Google it later.
Was.
Anyways, after that happened was 20 years of awesome DC. So will this retcon Band-Aid convergence be what they need, like it was 30 years ago, to make another 20 awesome years of DC Comics? If so, I'm in. If not, feh, and double feh.
I mean,
but you know what I'm saying?
To be fair, I would say you're more of... I mean, while you're reading, your DC titles, you're like... Mm-hmm. I feel like you're more of a Marvel person right now anyways. I know we've talked about you're coming to a shift of maybe going back to DC.
I've made that shift.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what if the conversion doesn't fix anything and actually makes it worse? You're gonna drop DC again?
I never fully dropped DC.
Well, no.
Let's not say things we don't mean. I never fully dropped DC. I just pulled back on the amount of titles because it was getting on my nerves. The thing I fear most about Convergence is Grant Morrison.
Well, yes.
Since he's at the helm of Multiversity, which has been a shit title, people. But since he's at the helm of that, and for some reason, DC just loves Grant Morrison. They can't get enough of the shit he writes. I'm afraid that they're just going to turn it into another reason to have all these multiple Earths that he's going to be in charge of.
Okay.
That will bother me. But if it's a way to maybe rectify some of the problems, bring some of the DC characters that haven't shown up into the DC, and then fix a couple things.
You and I'm finally going to get Donna Troy.
Yeah, you might finally get Donna Troy.
Sold.
I mean, we already have Wally West. Not the Wally West we know.
No.
And I'm okay with that. Like, I really am. Like, that's one of the reasons I pulled Grayson out, because I'm going to talk about that. In fact, this is going to segue into my Grayson. Let's just go into that.
Okay.
If it's going to be... It doesn't have to be 20 years of the characters I love and know. It can be 20 years of the characters I love and I get to know again.
Okay.
The reason I'm saying that leads into Grayson is because he's now a Lego character. It's really weird. It's like Family Guy. No, I'm joking. It's the Lego variant, Mom.
I did drugs once. It got way too real.
Yeah, I love that episode of Family Guy. The reason I say Grayson is they did something out of character that I thought they kind of should have done when DCNU happened. Grayson's no longer Nightwing.
Right.
He's no longer in the Bat family. He's completely different from the character we knew, besides his name and his background.
Right.
I think that's kind of cool. And that's something DC should have really embraced come the DCNU. They shouldn't have just been like, oh, here's a character with pretty much the exact same background, but his chest symbol is now red instead of blue. Otherwise, exact same thing.
Okay.
Then guess what? You didn't change anything. You just wanted to renumber one for sales reasons.
Right.
I think Grayson, they finally said, you know what? Fuck it. Let's really shake it up. And they did. Is it a good book? No. It's a good premise. I'm enjoying it well enough, but I also am not fond of this writer.
Okay.
So he could very well be the reason. Like, you put this in the hands of
Kyle Higgins.
His run was okay. But I mean, like,
okay.
You know, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great.
I enjoyed his run.
I know you did. But you put this in the hands of somebody like Brian Azzarello. You put this in the hands of somebody, Jeff Loeb. You put this in the hands of somebody else. Like, it could be.
Okay. So here's a pitch for you.
I'm listening.
Okay. So this isn't. He's a spy. It's essentially an espionage book now, right?
So, Brubaker?
I'm thinking Brubaker.
Oh, man.
Or, alternatively, if Brubaker doesn't want it, and I know this would never happen, Rucka.
Well,
I know you're not a fan of Rucka.
I don't dislike Rucka's writing, and I love his espionage stuff. I dislike Rucka.
Right.
Two different completely things. That's my Tim Sale argument. His artwork is beautiful. I don't like him as a person.
Right.
But his artwork is beautiful.
So I have read some of Rucka's novels. He does some espionage novels that are really good. And I think somebody that has a good grasp of the spy culture would do much better than
Tim Seeley. So I agree with you. And to be fair, like I said, I don't like Rucka, but his books are fine. Meanwhile, Star-Lord's written by Sam Humphries, who is a great guy. Not a huge fan of his work, though.
Okay.
So in Grayson, yes, he's in espionage. Essentially what happened is he died in Forever Evil. They outed...
For like 2 seconds.
Right. I say died because they outed his identity on national television, the crime syndicate. So now everyone knew Nightwing was Dick Grayson, so he couldn't be Nightwing anymore. So they killed him to the public, and now he's doing this espionage stuff. It's a different premise. It's a different role for the character. It takes him in completely different avenues you've never gone before, and I'm cool with that. Like, that part of the book I enjoy. The stories so far have been kind of eh. It seems like he's building to something, so I'm not giving him a final verdict yet.
Okay.
So I'll give it the first 6 issues before I either say I'm in or I don't like it, but I'm going to buy it anyways.
Because you have every issue that he's in.
I have every issue of Nightwing published, yeah.
Yeah. So, alternatively,
a
title that DC's tried to do that same thing with, that is, in my opinion, a complete flop. They've taken a character who has historically been, again, part of the Bat family and said, well, we're gonna mix it up, we're gonna make her do something else, is Frat Girl.
I'm sorry, who?
Batgirl.
What did you say?
I said Frat Girl.
Okay.
Because the first issue...
Yep, nope, I know exactly what you're talking about.
She's at the local college, she gets drunk, blackout drunk, thinks she hooked up with a guy, can't remember anything, and I'm like, that is not the Barbara Gordon that I know and love.
I will give you, you know what, not even if she was roofied. I wouldn't even be okay with that if she was roofied.
No.
Because Barbara Gordon's smart enough not to pull that
Right.
shit.
So, again, it's same turn of the coin. They're trying to do something different with the character. I think it's working better with Grayson than it is with
Absolutely.
Batgirl.
Absolutely. Like, hands down. Gail Simone, I didn't love her run. Kind of take it or leave it. But it was the same thing. She just took Batgirl that used to be in the DC, brought her DCNU, and really didn't change anything about her.
She didn't change anything about her. I think one thing that I appreciated about the Gail Simone run is that she essentially set up Batgirl's own rogues gallery.
Yep.
She was fighting villains that were not just Batman.
She was fighting
villains.
her own villains.
Yes, so that's one thing I appreciate.
And that's fine,
But like you said, it was essentially the same
just-
status quo as before. It's a member of the Bat family going out and fighting crime.
Yep. Done. So, again, at least this new person's maybe trying something new. We'll see where it goes. I don't have high hopes for it personally, but I'm a pessimist and an asshole.
Well, I will not argue that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, buddy.
So
Talk about Godhead.
My one comic that I have here, and I do have something else to talk about later, but as far as my one comic that I bought, Green Lantern number 36, this is the first issue, first part of Act 2 of Godhead.
Yes.
And my God, it needs to end.
What? No.
Absolutely.
No. I'm listening, though.
Knowing that I have another, at minimum, 11 issues of this event?
You have
9 issues, something like that. So
2 more months plus this. Yeah, you have 2 months left. You have 2 months left.
And it's
you have the month of November and the month of December, and then you're done with Godhead.
It's in 4 books a month or 5 books a month?
It's in Green Lantern Corps, New Guardians, Red Lanterns. So 4. And Sinestro, 5.
And Sinestro. So I have another 4 books this month, another 5 books next month.
So 11 books total, because then the Godhead finale's in it.
And I am already bored of this event.
But it started out so good.
I think it started out good, but knowing that it is so long is what's killing it for me. If it was we have a special issue as an intro, we have 1, maybe 2 issues in each book, and then we have a finale, I'd be better with it. But knowing that each book has 3 issues that are tie-ins, and then there's probably going to be epilogues and things like that.
No, just one. Just one.
So far.
No. I've read previews. Just one.
Previews change.
So let me ask you this question before I get to your review of this issue. Batman Eternals, 52 issues, 1 a week. You're okay with that length of time?
You want to know what's worse than that? They renewed it for a second year.
I know. I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
So, but before we get to the second year.
And no, I'm not. I'm so over Batman Eternal right now.
Really?
Too. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Like, whereas Futures End is once a week. Freaking love it.
Okay.
Freaking love it.
So anyways, this issue, so if you remember the last part, it was Sinestro.
Yes.
We talked about it last week. We saw that the Orion and his army was on Nock, which is the Indigo Tribes planet. Laying waste to them, trying to get the rings and everything like that. The Green Lantern Corps shows up and they're fighting alongside the Indigo Tribe to fight these guys off. Then the Sinestro Corps shows up and they do their bit. A bunch of the Sinestro Corps gets killed off by Sinestro because he doesn't like them. So this
That's
issue...
not true. It's because they wanted a mutiny.
Well, he didn't like them because they wanted a mutiny.
Okay.
So this issue, you see the Green Lantern Corps actually go to New Kurigar, which is where the Sinestro Corps is now based out of. There's some words between Sinestro and his daughter, Soranik. Soranik is a Green Lantern who's been hanging out with the Sinestro Corps, trying to essentially being their nurse.
Because she's a doctor.
Right.
Not their nurse, their doctor.
Whatever. Women can't be doctors, right?
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
I forgot about that.
Sorry, no, that's pastors. No.
No.
Anyways.
It is pastors.
Depending on your denomination, yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, so essentially the issue gets to the point where...
Priests definitely can't be priests. Mm-mm.
No. Anyways,
Keep interrupting me.
So Hal Jordan, essentially, he comes to the conclusion that these new gods have gone after every color ring. He finds, revelation, Kyle Rayner's still alive. They know it now.
Of course.
Yes. Up till this point, they've spent the last year thinking he was dead.
Yeah.
It's now revealed that the new gods have gone after Kyle Rayner to get the white light, lantern light. So, newsflash, you guys let me think my friend was dead all this time? They don't bother to let him know that Carol's been shacking up with him. But that'll come.
Not only does it... in previews, it's already advertised.
This is why I don't read previews, by the way.
Hal and her, like, they get into it because of that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Shit gets weird.
Right. So they find out that the new gods have gone after every color, including the white color, but Hal realizes there's one color they haven't got yet, which is the Black Lantern ring.
Oh.
So Hal's like, well, maybe we get the Black Lanterns on our side, and then the new gods can't get to them. And these Guardians are like, screw that, homie. You can't do that. We forbid it. You need to come with a strategy to go after these people, and it cannot include the Black Lanterns. So then you see Hal in this room on New Kurgar trying to come up with a plan. He's looking at all the different planets. He's having rings scanned for planets that have technology similar to the boom tubes. Nothing's being found. And then Sinestro shows up and he's like, you're a chump. The reason that I have never been able to defeat you in battle isn't because you're a master strategist. If you were a master strategist, I would chump you every time because that's my game. The reason that I've never beat you is because you are unpredictable. You don't go in with a clear-cut plan. You fly by the seat of your pants. We can't figure out what you're going to do. That's how you always escape us. And now you're trying to do the exact opposite because the Guardians tell you to. That's not how you're going to win this war. So he's essentially telling him, you need to, and there's a little battle where they're doing their rings and everything like that, and Hal's going on instinct, and essentially says, this is what you need to do. You need to stop thinking, you need to act, and you need to stop listening to the Guardians. So then towards the end of the issue, we see Hal go to Earth, where apparently the Black Lantern Corps runs a dead circus, which is super weird. That's
super awesome. Black Hand.
He's got Harry Houdini there. It's a weird thing. The Flying Graysons, Dick's parents.
No, that's
right.
That's in poor form.
But essentially, Hal says, "Look, I'm not here to fight you. I'm here to ask for your help."
Okay,
that's where the issue ends.
How does that not excite you? Just you telling me about it, I'm all like, "Oh, that sounds so good."
Because this is going to be the only issue in the next 5 that's going to do anything important.
But it's so good.
Right, but I know that I now have another month to wait before I see anything else I like. And that's it. I'm like, great. You have 15 issues as part of this event, and 3 of them are good.
They've all been good.
I haven't enjoyed like the last 3.
Okay.
I am tempted to drop the Lantern title.
Holy sh...
Right?
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You saw through Rise of the Third Army, and you didn't drop then.
I was very tempted to.
You saw the one lantern come back. You didn't drop then. But you're going to drop Godhead?
Yes.
But this has not been as bad as those.
No, but here's it's been slightly better than those. But it's further evidence that all I'm going to see from the Lantern Corps or the Lantern family titles is event after event after event after event after event. We had 1, maybe 2 issues in the last 2 years that have been a standalone issue where it's been good. But other than that, it's been event after event after event, and I'm tired of events. If you want to have so many events going on, don't have 4 ongoing titles. Make 1 double-sized title and have that be your events. I'm tired of having to especially when it's like parts like this, where you have to follow each of the books to get the entire story.
Now, I will agree with you. I don't think they should do that. I don't think they should go so title heavy. Despite my love of Kyle Rayner, I think they need to get rid of New Guardians And I think they need to get rid of Green Lantern. I think they need to rock just a Green Lantern core book. And that way it's not event after event after event. It's just the fucking story in the book.
Right. And one of the things that I've always said is, okay, make a Green Lantern book about a single lantern, or make that be where all your big events happen. If you want a Green Lantern core book, make it an anthology type book where you tell a 2 or 3 part story about a lantern and what he's doing, and then move on to another lantern, and then move. I don't need to have a Green Lantern core book be about what's happening to all 7 of the cores.
And that's why I say get rid of Green Lantern in New Guardians, because it's true. Green Lantern and Green Lantern core, I feel like, are the same book.
Right. Have your Green Lantern book be about the Green Lantern on Earth.
So, if I may, back to my previous discussion, what takes place after Godhead is just that. Hal decides it's time for him to go back to Earth and be the Green Lantern 2814.
But I don't even want it to be Hal Jordan. And I'm a Hal Jordan fan.
I'm just telling you what's going on.
What the hell's happening to Simon Boz these days? Tell me his exploits on Earth.
He was in Green Lantern Corps, the issue before Godhead. And nobody cared.
He was featured in there.
Yeah, nobody cared.
Nobody cared because they
care.
introduced him. They haven't done anything with him.
Yeah, he was in
Justice League United.
Yeah, see?
Cool.
Here's the thing. We don't need that many Green Lanterns of Earth.
No, 1. I'm saying 1. Give me 1.
Right.
And I don't necessarily need it to be Hal Jordan.
But what I'm saying is Hal is going back to Earth. Corps is going to focus on the space. Green Lantern's going to focus on Earth.
Is he not in charge of the Green Lantern Corps?
I don't know.
Anymore?
I didn't read.
Because if he's in charge of the Green Lantern Corps, he's like, guys, I'm just going to go hang out there, then that's bullshit.
I'm not arguing with you on that. But what I'm saying is Green Lantern Corps. So the original creation, when they made these books, the premise when Jeff Johns... Oh, God, I'm going to say Jeff Johns was right. The premise when Jeff Johns took over was Green Lantern took place on Earth.
Right.
Green Lantern Corps took place in space.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yeah.
I think that's a fine premise that they need to get back to.
Absolutely.
I think Jeff Johns... What I really think happened was Jeff Johns started doing epic crossover after epic crossover after epic crossover after epic crossover for years.
And that's the status quo now.
And that's the status quo. And I think the editors need to say, that was the status quo. That clearly was not working. That's why sales went down. Let's go back to Green Lantern of Earth,
but now,
Corps in space,
now
it good.
I'm seeing DC do that with other titles, too. I mean, you look at Superman just finished the... Doomed. Or maybe it's not even done yet. The Doomed...
Yep, it's over.
It's that. And then before that, there was the...
Hell on Earth.
Hell on Earth. And before that, it was something else. Stop! Just let me read my book. Tell me stories about what the hero in this one book is doing. I don't need it to be affecting everything else. Right. Grayson's an example of that. Yeah, there's slight tie into the Bat family, and occasionally he'll call back to Batman and be like, yo, this is what's going on. But other than that, it's totally just this.
Look, man. Earth 2. Read Earth 2. There's no tie-in books. There's no other issues you have to get. It's just Earth 2. Done and done.
But isn't it tying into some of this other stuff now?
After what? 4 years that has one crossover?
It hasn't been around 4 years, but yes.
Okay, fine.
So I'm saying, is it
2.5 years?
How long is that going to stay self-contained? Is it going to bleed over with this
Nope.
convergence? Is it going to?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
It's been solicited to just going back to being Earth 2.
Okay.
After World's End is over, so all the DC titles are going to stop for 2 months. We won't have Grayson, we won't have Batman, we won't have Detective Comics. They're all going to stop for 2 months, and it's only going to be Convergence. After Convergence, Earth 2 is just going back to being Earth 2. And that's it.
Okay. But so, I mean, this is one of the reasons why in the last 2 years I've gotten so into indie books. Because, I mean, yeah, you may have, like with the Skybound imprint image, all the Kirkman stuff, a lot of the superhero stuff, you see crossover here and there. But for the most part, it's all self-contained.
Well, and that's the whole point of the Independent, is it's independent. It is this one book, and that is it.
Yeah. But I mean, even the books that are in shared universes, like the Kirkman stuff, I mean, you've got Invincible, you've got Wolfman, you've got some of these other...
Sure.
They're all in there, but it's maybe once a year, once every other year, there's a crossover. But for the most part, it's contained. And I think that's the biggest thing I'm having with DC now. I love the characters at DC. I love Green Lantern, I mean, I love Batman. I love these characters they've built up. But I hate that it's all about how can we sell the most of all of our books? What
No.
can we do to make somebody who's only reading this book also read that book?
I totally understand that, and I sympathize, and I agree, and I understand that's why the lure of independence. I also think Brandon Peterson and Mouse Guard does it the best possible way. I don't think you're familiar with Mouse Guard.
I'm familiar with it. I haven't read it, but
so
I'm
I haven't talked about it. I love Mouse Guard. The reason I say they do it the best possible way is Brandon Peterson writes 6 issues. And like Mouse Guard is about a group of mice who are guarding the city against like predators like a snake and an owl, and it's awesome. It's a very fun, well-written book. But what happens is it's a 6 issues for a summer, and that's it. That whole thing is done. Like their story's told, and then they just go on to the next story, like Winter, and then they go back to one story called The Legend of Black Axe, which takes the story of the previous Mouse Guard, and that's it. Like it's not only is it self-contained within the book itself, it's self-contained where you can either buy those 6 issues or buy that one trade, and that is literally the entirety of a self-contained story. You can buy any of those trades and totally get everything that's going on.
Now, is there a continuity that flows through all of it?
There is, absolutely, but you don't have to buy them all to get it. It is an added bonus because there's a small callback where if I didn't read Fall, I just read Winter.
It doesn't. You're not missing it.
I'm not missing anything.
But if you did read, you're like, aha.
But it benefits. It doesn't take away.
Okay.
And I think that's a very smart way to do it. And I've been, as much as I love the collectability of my single issues, I love bagging and boarding. I love the whole process. There are some books I read just in trade because why not? Like sometimes it's nice to just be like, okay, good. I read that complete story and it's done.
Right.
I'll buy this next complete story and it's done.
Yeah.
I don't need the constant going. And the reason that I think that's so smart for Mouse Guard is because he has said, this way I'm not forced, like it doesn't come out every month. Like my 6 issues come out one every month.
Right.
But then if I don't have another story ready, I'm not just forced to throw out whatever comes to mind.
Right.
I have time to cultivate another full story and then release it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem a lot of ongoing books have that come out every month.
They know they have to put some out every
They have to. There's no choice in the matter. So I think what happens with the Green Lantern Corps is they are like, okay, Sinestro has its own book. What are we going to do? Green Lantern, you have your own book. Like, okay, we don't know, but let's get together. Oh, that's an awesome story. Let's do that. As opposed to just doing their own thing when it's there.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So that's my feelings on Green Lantern.
no, that's...
What was your second book that you were going to talk about?
I was going to talk about Legendary Star-Lord, written by Sam Humphries. Again, great guy. His books are really hit or miss. What I've seen to happen with a lot of his titles, it happened with his X-Force, it happened with a couple other ones that he's written, is the argument we just had. His first 6 issues are really good. Like, he's like, I got this awesome idea in mind.
So he has a great launching point. He just sustain.
Does not sustain, because I think he's like, well, that was my story. Well, what else? No, man, that was my story. I don't fucking know. Star-Lord, I felt like was the same way. He's like, oh, you know, it'd be really cool, like if it turns out Star-Lord had a sister he didn't know about, and he's now on this ship with this weird AI, and he's dating Kitty Pryde on Earth and holo dates. Like, oh, that sounds really cool. Okay, and it was, and now you're like, okay, are we gonna develop any more?
Right.
No, that's
all you got.
We're just gonna tell the exact same story. I felt like I just read issue 1, now in issue 5. Oh, okay, cool.
Right.
So. Yeah, so it's not bad. Like, I get it. The Guardians movie's out. Rocket Raccoon's huge right now. Star-Lord, it's all huge right now. The sequel's been announced. And I get it. And I'm not saying that it's bad. It's definitely just... It's my same argument with all the other Guardians stuff. It's not as good as it was.
Okay.
Go read the DNA books if you want great cosmic stories.
Okay.
Don't read Humphreys. Sorry, Sam. That is it for me, man.
All right. The only other thing I want to mention is, while I didn't have a lot of
yeah, you were going to mention something else.
I did stumble across this thing which has been around for 6 years, and apparently other people know about it. Just like I was saying last week, somehow I just missed the boat on some of this stuff. I stumbled across The Gutters, which is it's a online, it's like a web comic, and what they do is they release a page a day, and they get actual people from the industry to do it. So, I mean, I've seen writers and artists' names that I recognize, but it's all satire about the comics industry. So I gave you an example of one earlier, and I'm trying to remember what I did.
Deadpool one and Phantom X.
Right. So the X-Force series that was out a couple years ago that had, Wolverine and Psylocke and Deadpool and Phantom X. It's essentially Deadpool and Phantom X sitting next to each other like this, and Deadpool's like, yeah, so I never really liked any of the G.I. Joes or anything like that either. You were always my favorite. And Phantom X is like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, you're Storm Shadow, right? And Phantom X is like, damn it, no, because they look very similar. So it's all stuff like that.
That's awesome.
There was one, another one I told you about was, and again, this was from we've talked about this, being that I'm a completionist.
Yeah.
I started where? At the beginning, which was 2010. So some of these are kind of older references, but it was it was a series of covers from Invincible, and the first issue you see it just says Invincible. The next issue, it was supposed to be like 2012 or something like that. Robert Kirkman's Invincible, and then 2 years later it's just Kirkman. So it's a joke about how it's not about the characters. It's all about, Kirkman wrote this, it's good. We're just gonna put his name all over it.
It's very true though.
The Walking Dead success.
Look at Walking Dead. That book stopped being good about 4 years ago.
And I've only ever read the very first issue of the book, but the TV show is huge. So everyone's like,
because it's Kirkman.
Yeah. So I've, like I said, they do like a page a day. I'm up to page 65. They're all up there for free from the beginning all the way through now. So if you have a few hours, days, weeks to kill, just hop on. Just Google The Gutters. It's like the first thing that comes up. So.
There you go. You got anything else for us, brother?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, I guess until next week, take care of yourselves.
See you.